What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Verse Crypto channel, the most savage and degenerate crypto channel out there. My name is Khaos Kris, and I'll be your host today. Before I have this video, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on bell notifications so I keep you guys up to date with the latest, greatest news and information within the space. With that being said, let's hop right in this live stream. As always, I have another awesome live stream for all you guys today. Today, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite projects, and probably one of the most controversial, even though it's not really that controversial. It's a great project, titanX. Now, as most of you guys know, I'm going to be out next week. I got to head down to Costa Rica, go on vacation and whatnot, and I had this feeling in my stomach because I promised you guys I would do one titanX live stream a week, and I would feel terrible if I didn't at least do one for this week before I peace out for a minute. So, we're going to talk about a little bit about titanX, talk about what's going on with the price, look at the overall tokenomics, maybe check out a few other projects, see what's going on with DragonX. And for the most part, I'm just going to run through a few things. This can be a live AMA. If you got any questions, if you got any comments, if there's anything you want to talk about titanX related, now's the time to put in this chat, because last time we did an AMA, the thing was absolutely awesome. You guys were really engaging with all the stuff I was doing, and honestly, it was probably one of my favorite live streams personally. So let's kick this thing off and take a little look-a-rooski at where we're sitting. Actually, wait, no, let's check out comments. I always like to just take a quick look-a-rooski at comics. Chirpsy, always love your content, Crits. Let's freaking go. Shout out to you, man. Good to have you in here. DQ Crypto, let's go. I only need an 800X. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's freaking go. Glenn, what's up, man? It's good to see you, brother. Frank JDM, wouldn't we all want to get an 800X? Man, I agree, man. Definitely. 800X is always nice. You know, it's so crazy when you jump into a project and it goes up a 800X, and basically you're sitting there holding your funds and it's just going absolutely bananas. So really, really good stuff. Now, next one. Alex, hello, Chris. You are the best. Hey, shout out to you, Alex. It's always good to have you in the live stream, my man. Orion, what is up, brother? It's always good to see you. I love Orion, man. Really good dude. If you guys get a chance, check out his Twitter. Great guy. Rayo X, what's good, Chris? Back for another one. titanX for the win. Man, I love that. I love the positivity. I love the energy. Shout out to you guys. All right. Now, let's get crack-a-lacking and just talk about what's happening with the price right now. Now, let's take a quick look at the overall price on Dex Screener. So, since last time I covered titanX, we had a little bit of a dip down. Basically, we went up from launch, came back down, a little bit of inflation set in, and then from, I would say about, let's do this. From about this period all the way to about right here, markets are actually doing pretty good. It felt like it was like a huge like titanX party. Twitter is blowing up. People were going crazy. I mean, honestly, it was a really, really good time. Now, after this little period, we had, I just deleted a line. Let's see if I can get it back. Okay. Now, let me get this out of here. Now, since that period of time, we started dipping down, dipping down, dipping down, dipping down, and then we have a little bit of a sell-off, and then we had a retracement, and then sell-off, 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 coming down, coming down. Chris, what is going on? So basically, what we're starting to see is a lot more miners are getting into profit. Now, if you got into titanX at the very beginning, you're probably getting somewhere between a 300% to a 500% ROI. If you're on day one, you probably were getting, so I even heard people of getting somewhere around an 18 to 20x on some of their miners, which is awesome. People are winning, and it was really, really fun. But ultimately, that can't last forever. Otherwise, the token would get absolutely diluted. So essentially, what happened was in the beginning, you could mint a lot of titanX. There was a lot of action going on. We came up, came down, came up, and then started coming down. Now, during this period of time, this is right when we started to see the cost of the miner go up and the amount of titanX per miner starting to go down. So the ROI of short-term miners went down pretty quickly. Technically, you can talk about the T-rank bonus, but I'm not going to bring that into this equation. Now that we're finally starting to see the effects of the increase in the value of the titanX miner and the reduction of titanX being outputted, that's when we started to see more of a market dump out on titanX, going down, 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 and now the price is sitting slightly above its launch date. So overall, you know, sooner or later we were going to hit this point. And essentially, the one big point I'm trying to get across was titanX was designed to go from hyper-deflationary to hyperinflationary. So right now, we're still in that it was designed to go from hyperinflationary to hyper-deflationary. I mixed up the words. So right now, we're still in that hyperinflationary period. Now, the real question is, when are we going to go hyper-deflationary? And that's the question on everybody's mind, which hopefully I'll answer in a minute. Now, coming over here to the titanX miner, excuse me, not the titanX miner, the titanX dApp. So if we just take a little quick lookarooski at the buy and burn. So right now, version 2 is still sitting at about $13 million. So there's about 6,000 ETH. And then version 1 still has $10 million, and there's about 4,000 to 5,000 ETH. So overall, we still have some ETH in version 2 and version 1. Version 1 hasn't really been touched as much, and version 2, essentially we have 3.3 ETH, numerology, callable every 60 minutes. So during this period of time where we start to see the price go down, 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 down right here, essentially the buy and burn contract burning intervals started to increase over time because we were essentially burning way too much titanX to keep up with that couldn't keep up with the inflow of ETH. So basically, the amount of ETH going into the dApp was way under the amount of ETH being used for the buy and burn. So right now, the buy and burn is in this experimental phase where we're trying to see what is the correct interval and what is the correct measure so that it can create a sustainable dApp that goes on to the future. Now, coming over here to the titanX community stats. Shout out to my boy Mike Dean. Always got the fire dApps, man. Mike Dean, man, he's always developing. Now, some things that I saw was at the beginning we had about 13K miners, 21K miners, and then at the peak about day 56, when we started hyping up again, we had over 17K miners. Now, since the price dropped, here's something that I really, really noticed. Right around day 75 to day 91, the amount of miners being started went down by a lot. We're talking on 75, we had 246, and the highest we got was on day 90, which was 2,101. And I think the reason why we had so many of those miners on day 90 was due to that 90-day ETH payout. People were taking in, recycling in. So it turns out anytime we have a big ETH payout, there's a good chance you're going to see a little bit more miners. But overall, it's a lot lower. Now, what does this mean for titanX since we're having less miners being produced? The reason why I was highlighting the buy and burn address is because there's still a pool of ETH that's going to be used to buy up the titanX token, burn off the market. And same with V1. And sooner or later, the rumor is V1 and V2 are going to merge together. And it's going to be one constant buy and burn wallet address. Now, the reason why I'm pointing this out is because now that we have the reduction in miners and we still have a pretty thick buy and burn balance on the titanX dApp, we're going to start to see a supply shock going out to the future. And the reason why I say that is not many people are doing miners right now. And so because not many people are doing miners right now, the miners are becoming more expensive over time. Also on top of that, they're producing less titanX. So this means that we're going to see less titanX hit into the market short term and long term. And so if we scroll down here to the amount of titanX that's going to be hitting the market into the future, I'm going to do a quick zoom in real quick. So right here, this is the one without the log scale. I'm going to focus on the one with the log scale right here. Now, basically, there's going to be a supply that's slowly going down. And then once we get close to day 280, this is right when we're going to see a massive amount of the titanX supply hit the market. So for the most part, we're in a very high inflationary phase, but over time, we're going to slowly start to see the amount of titanX that hits the market go down. And with that buy and burn address, it's going to be slowly adjusted so that the dApp can be sustainable into the future. Now, this is where things are going to get really, really interesting because now that we're in this high inflationary period, that's when we're starting to see the introduction of new dApps, and new projects. And then once we start moving past the inflationary period and we get to the deflationary period with all these new projects, titanX on top of it, and Hyper and Shogun, it's going to be the real deal. So we're not going to get into that. We're not going to jump into that until later on in the live stream. But overall, like I said, the short-term amount of titanX that's being minted into the future, it's actually going down, 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 down based off of this chart up until day 280, where we have a huge amount of titanX that will hit the market. So awesome stuff. Now, the other thing I've also been observing when it comes to these project protocols, I like to research, I like to observe, I like to think. This is what I like to do. I don't watch TV. I basically surf and lift weights and do crypto. That's it. That's it. So one thing that I noticed, and I like this Sung G. I think that's his name. Yeah, Sung G. I'm sorry if I say your name wrong, or I'm not sure if you're even viewing this live stream, but the point is, I'm taking a close, hard look at all these statistics, and I think Mike Dean would create the ultimate all-in-one DApp if he added the amount of titanX being burned from V1, V2, and also if he adds the titanX staking right here, which we'll talk about in a minute. But overall, the main thing I want to talk about is how is V1 and V2 reacting? So basically, the amount of ETH that's being used to buy titanX off the market was turned down by a lot. You can see how this was like a staircase coming up, and then now it's coming down and starting to bottom out. And then V1, basically we're not seeing too much action. So I would say we had the split in V1, V2 on November 7th, and then we had V1 kick in a couple times on November 11th, November 16th, and November 25th. So the main point I'm trying to get across is we haven't seen any action from that V1 buy and burn. I don't know what the strategy is behind that. Maybe there's a bigger picture. But ultimately, we're starting to see the V2 kick in at a slower rate. And the price is dipping, but it's also trading sideways, which is really, really good. And I think a lot of this has to do with DragonX, which is what we're going to get into in a minute. Now, the other thing I really want to talk about. So I'm gonna try to do this so that my head's not in the way. I really want to talk about this sucker right here. So as most of you guys know, if you've seen past live streams, we talked about the amount of titanX that was staked out into the future. Before, I believe this was right around 48-50%, and now it's at 300 to 1 to 3,500, and then Gray's at 2,000 to 3,000. So essentially, if you do 23.7 plus 65.6, so that's 66 plus 24. What is that? Yeah, I'm just going to do the math. I'm too tired to do math right now. 90. Okay, so based off of this, we have 90% of the titanX that is staked in the DApp going past 2,000 days. So essentially it's going to be released in the next bull market or maybe a little bit after that, which is really, really cool. Now, the reason why there's such a huge circle right here is mainly due to DragonX. I just want to throw that out there. But essentially, that's part of the reason why when DragonX came in, they took up a really large sum of the ETH payout, which we'll talk about in a minute. And I'm going to get on to DragonX and talk about what's going on there. But essentially, that's the breakdown of staking. And yep. Cool. Now, let's see if we got any more questions in the chat. So let's see. It looks like we got some people talking about P-Dye to $1. That's awesome. RayoX, Mike Dean literally creating his own titanX coin market cap for the ecosystem legend. Yeah, I don't know how that guy does it. And honestly, he has a special set of skills, and he's absolutely been killing it. So shout out to Mike Dean. Ryan Torres, bullish on titanX, top pick for massive gains. Yeah, I do agree. Here's the thing that I noticed about projects like titanX and anything that gets flooded to existence. The best projects I have ever been in were the ones that got flooded into the ground. Now, a really great story. Lithium. It was a proof of work DAG blockchain that came out right after Caspa. And something big happened with the developers and the community really flooded the developers. And long story short, a lot of people left Ethereum and the price absolutely crashed because everybody was concerned about the marketing and issues with token inflation because it's a proof of work blockchain. Right when I saw that, I jumped in, bought the bottom of that, and next thing you know, the thing does a 20x about, I think, a year later. The point of the story I'm trying to tell you guys about is when I get into projects that push back or haters or people that are always attacking it, I always see the price go down or something happens, and then next thing you know, the price skyrockets like a year, 6 months, 3 months later. And so that's part of the reason why one of my main strategies in crypto is to build that foundation of really great projects, but also to look for the projects that always get the pushback, always get the FUD. And titanX is one of those projects. I don't understand why it's so controversial and why so many people hate this project. But ultimately, I do think there's something special being formed if you look at the overlying utility and the fact that we have a really great community forming on top of it. There's over 20 plus projects launching on top of titanX, and every single one of these projects is different. There's an NFT project, there's a video game, there's a store of value, there's a project that does work with liquidity pools. I think there's a project that's talking about doing bridged over tokens, well, titanX tokens from Ethereum to Pulsechain and other blockchains. So there's so much innovation going up beyond titanX. And when I got into titanX, the one thing I was really betting on is the fact that this launchpad is the best way to really explain it. Is going to bring on so much innovation, so much development, and through that, that's where the value of the token is going to appreciate. So that's just my overall thoughts. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on a huge tangent. Show me the money. What's up, Pac-Man? Good to see ya. Nomad Invest, Rayo X. Curious to see how well Helios miners will perform. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So I talked to the guy from Helios. Oh, dude. Yeah, the guy looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. He's actually a really nice guy. So apparently he's changing up different aspects of his project. So what I really want to do is have him create the new white paper and then do another review and go through it, because we really dove into that project and got into the meat and the cheese of what he's trying to create. So I do agree, Helios is a great project. I love the investment side where it's going to outside protocols to bring it in to burn titanX and Helios. That is like the gem of the Helios ecosystem, especially based on the fact that he's trying to create a smart contract for that. Tank Will K Dub, what's up, brother? Good to see you, my man. We're still bullish, bro. Yes, sir. Always. Frosty Dog, I just got home from surfing. Smash the likes. Yeah, what's up, Frosty Dog? Good to see you, man. Where are you surfing out of? Goo God, something is telling me that titanX is about to get nuts. Patient pays. Diamond hand. Peace. Shout out to you, Goo God. Shout out to my boy Goo God. If you guys get a chance, please check out Goo God. Absolute awesome Jarrett. Really nice dude. Down to earth. Tank Will X. Great stream, Chris. Everybody hit the like there. Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Frosty Dog, your hat secret spot. Where is that? Puerto Rico? Oh, so the secret spot, this is in Outer Banks, North Carolina. Outer Banks, North Carolina is the biggest surf spot on the East Coast, arguably. And that's where a lot of the pro surfers go. And so the secret spot is on the north end of the island. And there's a really great break up there. It's mostly sandbar break, so it's not reef. But I have a feeling you're down in Puerto Rico, so I know you guys got a lot of reef. So awesome. Good stuff. All right. So I think we went through all the questions. Now, let's talk a little bit about what's going on with DragonX. Now, before we just go nuts on DragonX and start diving into what's going on here, the one thing I really want to get across is the reason why DragonX is one of the most important protocols is because it's the first protocol to launch on top of titanX. When DBZen launched on top of Zen, DBZen really did something huge for the Zen ecosystem. We saw the price of Zen appreciate astronomically. And that's part of the reason why DBZen is one of the most popular projects on top of this, the Zen ecosystem. So DragonX, a lot's been going on here. Now, as most of you guys know, DragonX essentially received, I think it was over 280 trillion or billion titanX. Basically, it was like $1 million worth of titanX going straight to the DragonX vault. And if you guys don't know what DragonX is, it's basically a protocol built on top of titanX where you can take your titanX, burn it for DragonX, and that titanX is used to stake into the staking vault. And from the staking vault, each of the payouts are going to be used to either buy up the titanX and stake it, or burn DragonX by buying titanX, swapping for DragonX, and burning it. So that's like a little rundown. And if you guys want me to really go deep into it again, just let me know. But let's get to the main thing that all you guys want to be looking should be looking at. Now, the buy titanX for DragonX vault. So essentially, there's over total titanX bought was about 191,000. Total ETH in the titanX buy vault is right around $504 million. So all that titanX that was in the DragonX smart contract that was being staked, it essentially received right around, I think it was 600 million to 750. No, excuse me, $650,000 to $750,000 worth of ETH. And so right around half a million of that went straight into the titanX buy vault, which is going to be used to buy up titanX and stake it into the future. Now, the burn DragonX vault, there's approximately $642,000 in the buy and burn DragonX vault. Now, this is going to be like another buy and burn of DragonX. And so together, you've basically got about $1 million worth. Now, why is this so important for titanX? Just like when we come over here to the buy and burn, we have $13 million in V2, and we have about $10 million in V1. Now, in DragonX, we have $500,000 that's going to be used to buy up titanX and constantly restake it. Keep in mind, this is titanX that's not going to be sold off the market. All it's going to do is stake out for 3,500 days, and then once it claims the stake, it's going to restake it again. And then in the buy and burn, which is going to be used to buy the titanX token and swap it for DragonX, there's about $642,000. So the best way for me to really think about this is you got another burn wallet address right here. You got one for the buy titanX for the DragonX vault, and you got the buy and burn for the DragonX token. And so this introduces another deflationary pressure on the titanX token based off of the DragonX mechanics that's being set up, which is going to be really, really huge. Now, let's go into Picasso, because I know you guys absolutely love my photos, and it would not be a Khaos Kris live stream unless I'm drawing you guys a nice Picasso photo. So where are we sitting at right now with DragonX being out onto the market? Now I'm just going to do a quick drawing real quick. So the main one we have is we got ETH, we got titanX, bada bing, bada boom. And then over here, now we have a new player. We got our titanX. And then we have Dragon X, which is cool. So right now we have these two main LPs that are basically sitting out in the system. This ETH and titanX, I believe this one's right around, let me look at the thing just so I'll give you, all right, $8.5 million. So this one's going to be right around 8.5 million. Why did it do that? All right, whatever. So we're looking at about 8.5 million on the value of that LP. And then on this one, I believe this was right around 250K on this LP. Well, we're not going to put LP on this one. So we'll get rid of all this. So we have two main liquidity pairs. So we got the ETH paired up with titanX, and then we got the titanX, we have the DragonX paired up with ETH. Now, here's where things are going to get interested. So there's going to be two prices of why do you keep doing that? So there's going to be two prices of titanX across the board. And with those two prices, this is going to incentivize arbitrage opportunities. So ARB. So I'm going to say this is ARB. Now, here's where the buy and burn is going to come in. That's going to start to impact it. So for DragonX over here, there's two things that are going to be driving the DragonX price. Number one, it's the buy titanX address, which is essentially the same thing as a burn address, right? And the other one is the DragonX burn, and I'll just say the burn wallet. So these are the two things that are going to cause constant price fluctuations in this LP right here. Now, for the ETH and the titanX, what's going to cause constant price fluctuations is number one, V1 and V2, BNB. So the buy and burn on this one. And then number two, so this is going to be one. And then number two, it's going to be staking, which now kind of coincides with DragonX. But there's always going to be incentivization to staking, because when people stake it, it takes off the market. So you have these two outside factors which are going to be driving the price of titanX up. So this is going to push the price of DragonX up. And titanX up. And when that pushes the price of titanX up, it's going to cause different prices between the tokens across these two protocols. And when that happens, the arbitrage is going to kick in, and more titanX tokens are going to be burned across the board. Now, right now, this is sitting at about, I think this was like 13 mil. And I think this was like, was it like 10 mil or something? And then these are about right around 500K. I don't know the exact amounts. So these are the amounts that of the outside buy pressure that's going to be impacting the system. So you have 250K, you got 8.5 million. You got basically a buy and burn address that's going to be a little bit more than the entire market cap of ETH and titanX. And then you also have the buy titanX address and the DragonX burn, which is about $1 million, and the titanX DragonX market cap. Let me double check that, make sure I'm not telling you guys wrong information. What's the market cap? $2 million. I'm sorry. So this is actually supposed to be $2 million. I don't want to give you guys the wrong idea. So $2 million, which that wasn't supposed to happen. So $2 million. And now you have about a half of what the market cap is for Dragon titanX, which is going to cause constant price fluctuations. So the main point I'm trying to get across is, without getting too far in the weeds, I know I turned this into like a PhD class. The point I'm trying to get across is you have these outside DApp features, the buy and burns, the staking, the buying the titanX token. And what it's going to do is it's going to change the price of titanX in each of these pools. And when the price of titanX change across each of these pools, you're going to have arbitrage opportunities where you're going to buy and sell titanX in each of these pools. And through those fees, which are on version 3 Uniswap, you're going to have more and more of those fees essentially being burnt for titanX, which makes me absolutely bullish on the entire ecosystem. So overall, I'm really, really excited. This is one of the first dApps, and don't get me wrong, we're going to see more. Helios is coming out with something very similar to DragonX. It's basically well, not similar to DragonX, but it's basically the same thing as titanX, but they have this investment wallet. Well, not investment, but they have a investment smart contract that's going to be used to build outside protocol revenue generation into it. So overall, we're going to see the same system being implemented as well, and we're going to see more and more and more of these tokens being burnt up into the future. Now, one other thing I also want to throw out there, because I've been thinking a lot about this other day. Now, if we come over here to the screen share, as most of you guys know, DragonX received a huge portion of the day 90 payout cycle, and some people weren't too happy with it. Others were cool with it. I mean, me personally, I was cool with it because most of that money is going to go into basically burning titanX off the market or staking it into a smart contract that continues to stake into the future. It's basically another burn of the titanX token, just in my opinion. So a majority of this 90-day payout cycle basically went to the DragonX contract and was being used to implement the project. Now, there's another big day I want you guys to pay special attention to. It's going to be day 369. On day 369, we're going to get right around $5 million. There's a good chance that this could be anywhere between $10 million to $50 million. I don't know. But I guarantee you over the next couple months, we're going to see this wallet address build up, build up, build up, build up. And on top of that, we're going to see a lot of projects already built on top of titanX, and they're using that staking pool to bring in ETH to help get their project kick-started. Now, this diagram that I was showing you is going to be a lot more advanced, and it's going to have a lot more money. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this scenario up is because if we go over here and we look at the amount of titanX that's going to be dumped down to the market, a majority of it is going to be hitting the market. Let's see. So it's going to be hitting the market on day 280. And then the next big day is going to be on, I believe that is September. Wait. Yeah. So that's August. And then the next big day is going to be September 15th. And then thereon after that, we're going to slowly start to see a decrease over time up until we get to, I believe that's going to be November 4th is going to be 369. No, November 2nd, I believe. It's going to be right around November 2nd of 2024. That's when we're going to see that massive ETH payout. And the reason why I'm saying this is going to be really, really important is because you're going to see the majority. Oh, I'm sorry. So I was talking about this day right here. Day 280 is going to be in August. And then also the next big day thereon after that is going to be September 15th. And then after that, a majority of the supply is going to be out on the market. And we're not going to see a massive amount of tokens being mined because the price of miner goes up and the amount of tokens being mined by each miner goes down. Now, the reason why I'm saying day 369 is going to be extremely important is because right after the titanX birthday, we have all these tokens out onto the market. We have all these new protocols doing their thing. And then when day 369 hits, we're going to see a huge unlock of all this ETH into all the protocols, into all the stakers. And what do you guys think is going to happen if a majority of them go to these projects? What I think is going to happen is you're going to start to see more and more titanX slowly burnt off the market because we have all the inflation already hit the entire market. And that's right when we're going to start to see titanX go from hyperinflationary to hyperdeflationary. So part of the reason why I'm so long-term bullish on titanX has to do with this day 369 payout. This is going to be one of the most important days. Well, second most important day in titanX history. The first, well, actually, no, there's been three important dates on titanX history. Number one was the first project to launch on titanX. It was a smooth launch, happened really, really great. Number two is going to be day 280, where we see a huge mass inflation of the titanX token hit the market. Number three is going to be the day 369 payout, which is going to be extremely impactful. And then probably fours might be the launch of like Shogun and Hyper because that's Jake's personal project. And then we got day 888, which we don't have to speculate because that's going to be for the next bull run, or I think that might be in the bear market now that I think about it. But we're a long ways from that. The main focus right now is on day 369. So if you guys are feeling concerned about titanX, if you're feeling like you don't know if you want to be part of the project, like I completely get it, but you got to see the overall long-term vision. If you're going to be in a project like this, you got to think long-term and not short-term. The degen short-term mining stuff, it's over, but there's a bigger picture being built out here, and there's a lot of opportunity. Now, coming over here to DragonX, so we basically covered all the stuff I really wanted to cover. Now, the one thing I really want to talk about is DragonX. There's going to be a window of opportunity for this project, and I'm gonna tell you guys because you guys are the loyals. You guys come to my live stream, you support me, you guys show me so much love on Twitter. So I'm gonna tell you guys specifically, but I'm not gonna put this on Twitter because I started gatekeeping a lot of the information I know now. So there's certain things I don't tell certain people or on Twitter and whatnot. And one thing that I want to tell you guys specifically about DragonX is the best time to buy DragonX is when we start to get close to the point where DragonX is not going to be minted out onto the market anymore. Now, if we come over here to the white paper, I did a whole live stream just covering this project, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But right around week 12 of when this project has been launched, that's when we're not going to see any more DragonX ever hit the market. And that's going to be the best time to own this token because there's going to be a certain amount of capital that's going to be built up in this buy and burn DragonX wallet address. And when you have a token that goes from inflationary to deflationary with a buy and burn with arbitrage opportunities, I could definitely see a lot of DragonX being constantly bought and burned off the market. And we're going to see a very large supply gets scarcer over time. And the great part about this is we're going to be in the middle of the bull market, which is also going to burn even more fees across the DragonX protocol. So overall, if you guys were looking to get into DragonX, probably the best time, in my opinion, to get into is going to be if you guys want to mint, get in sometime between week 11 or week 12, or you can just wait for the end of week 12 and just buy the supply, buy a good bag of it outright and sit there and just hold that bag, because keep in mind it's going to be deflationary at that point, and the success of DragonX is going to be determined based on the success of titanX. So in my opinion, DragonX is going to be a really great store of value token, and there will be a window of opportunity for it. So awesome stuff. All right, let's see if we got any more questions. I've been blabbering a lot. Whoa, we got a lot of questions here, so good stuff. So Blue, what's up, brothers? Good to see you, my man. Good stuff. Landscaper, DJs, what's good, man? Good to see you, Landscaper. Yeah, guys, I got my water jug that I can't remember what live stream was, but a lot of you guys were like freaking out about my water jug. His thing is like huge. So when do you think titanX mining will end? So Rod, titanX mining is never going to end. titanX mining is going to become much more expensive, and I believe it's going to be capped off at 2 ETH. Let me double check that, so I'm not telling you wrong. I'm pretty sure titanX is going to be capped off at 2 ETH. The miner, let me double check that. I don't want to tell you guys the wrong thing. Where is it? Yes. No, it's 1 ETH. I'm sorry. Yeah. So the titanX miner is going to be capped off at 1 ETH, and I'll just show you guys what I'll show you what I'm talking about, man. So you have this exponential curve where after every single day, the titanX miner becomes gradually much more expensive. And then once we get to about day 2000, it's going to cost 1 ETH to do a max miner. Now, here's the important thing to understand is the titanX per day mining. So it starts off really high and it goes down exponentially. And then once we get to about right around here, which is going to be year 1, we're going to be well past half of the supply reduction. And then once we get to about day 1000, that's probably going to be close to a 99% reduction in the titanX supply. So the point I'm trying to get across is you can continue to mint titanX out into the future. The cap of amount of titanX that could be mineable per day is going to be $800 once we start to get to the bottom of that exponential curve, and it's going to be capped at that going on to the future. So overall, titanX mining is going to continue to the future. The one thing that's not going to be mineable or mintable, quote unquote, is going to be DragonX. That's the big one, and that's going to stop after week 12, which is, what is it, month 4? So okay. So RayOX Soul Treasury on Helios is like a 2-in-1 titanX DragonX meshed into one. I definitely do agree. Frosty Dog, I live in Puerto Rico. Oh, nice, man, dude. Puerto Rico's sick, dude. I guarantee you probably catch some really great waves. There's a point break down there that one of my boys, Cam Richards, likes to go down to. So definitely really cool, man. Hopefully I can catch you in Puerto Rico sometime, my man. Crypto Vic, any news on Shogun? So Jake hasn't really been talking about Hyper or Shogun. I think he was trying to get it out soon and be one of the first projects to launch on top of titanX, but he found out news of DragonX launching. So I haven't talked to Jake in a minute. You know, he's been doing his thing. He's been talking to developers. He's been really trying to promote the titanX brand, which I get. I mean, he's doing his thing and trying to make his project successful. But I think what happened was right when he saw Dragon X, and this is me speculating, he said, okay, I want to see how this project launches and how the community reacts, what happens to the price of the token. Is there any flaws, like what's going on? And so he basically used Dragon X as a nice test run. And what I think is also going to happen in the future is he might wait for a couple more projects and then launch Hyper and then launch Shogun and all these other projects that a lot of people are really excited about. Ian FLL 1234. Why not swap into Dragon X now? So Dragon X right now is 101. There is a great opportunity if you want to mint titanX into Dragon X, and feel free to do it, man. It is completely up to you. I'm not really sure how the price is going to perform, to be quite frankly honest with you. And I'm not here trying to be like a moon boy, or I'm not like a big fudder on certain projects. But since the Dragon X launch, and just keep in mind, the reason why the Dragon X price went up like right here, that was due to a sniper bot. So just disregard that price action. The main price action we want to see is right about here. So right now, Dragon X is in somewhat of a downtrend. So we're falling down right here, and it looks like we're in a descending triangle. So the reason why I didn't mainly get into Dragon X is because I know in this period of time, we're going to see a massive amount of inflationary pressure on top of it. Now, the one thing I will say is, well, actually, excuse me. So a lot of tokens are being minted out into the Dragon X ecosystem. Currently, it's 101, and then it's going to drop down a little bit every week. Now, the one thing I was saying about my Dragon X strategy is I'm waiting for all the Dragon X get minted out into the market, and once we get closer from going from inflationary to deflationary, that's when I'm just going to buy a bag and hold it and let go into the future. I think Dragon X is a great project. It's an awesome protocol. There's a lot of opportunity behind this project, but right now, because there's so much inflation behind the Dragon X token, I want to be on the sidelines. I want to see how this price performs and then make my move going towards the end, because I'm not sure how the inflation is going to impact the overall Dragon X price, and that's just my overall opinion on the matter. So, all right. Do you think the ratio matters? Well, right now it's 1-to-1, and so as it becomes less convenient to mint Dragon X, and as the amount of titanX as that ratio slowly starts to go down, Dragon X will become scarcer. But like I said, in my opinion, I'm waiting for a majority of the tokens to be out there, and then I want to buy a bag. So, Henny Baby Crypto, let's see that jug of titanX haters tears one more time. Dude, Henny Baby Crypto, man, you're a legend, dude. Because when I put that on live stream, I had no idea you were actually going to do it. And for those guys who don't know, I did a picture like this. And he took a photo and made a meme of it and said, titanX haters on it, man. That was funny, dude, man. You're a legend, dude. I love it, man. Frank JDM, do you see the price of titanX going down a bit more due to this inflation? TAs all over the place. Might just take some profit now and leave the rest. That's a great question. I will tell you, if you look at the charts, we're going to see more and more of this token hit the market. As to how the price is going to perform, what I said day one, well, from the start, what I did was I had a bunch of miners, because number one, a majority of what I did was through miners. So if I ever wanted to own titanX for a short period of time, I did a short-term miner. If I want to own titanX for a long period of time, I did a long-term miner. So me holding titanX, I did it through miners because of the T rank and all the bonuses you get. And then staking a liquid bag, I basically took about, I would say right around, it's like 10 to 20%, but let's say 20%. So I took 20% of my bag, I put 10% in liquid, and then I put 10% into staking. And so the staking yield started off really, really great, but over time it got diluted. the titanX price started to appreciate, and then over time it started to drop. So from my conclusion of my little initial test result, I don't think it's the best idea to hold titanX outright. I think the best play with titanX is through the miners. Whether you want to do a long-term miner or a short-term miner, make sure there's a decent amount of ROI when you start your miner. I would probably shoot now for right around at least 100% ROI. The T rank bonus will kick in and basically help keep your position. But that is the best way to actually hold titanX. I would not hold a liquid bag, and that's just my opinion. Tank X will dub. When the Dragon X and buy and burn call button gets increased and speeds up, it will skyrocket the price of both Dragon X and titanX because it's a double buy one. It's a double buy one from the titanX and Dragon X vault and another from the BNB. Let me read that one more time. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I do definitely agree. Hopefully that happens very, very soon. And I do think that the amount of ETH that Dragon X has to support the titanX ecosystem is going to be extremely impactful, especially when you have those protocols running side by side cohersively. George Reed, one of the best time to get Dragon X is in the first 2 weeks when it's 1-to-1. Possibly, but keep in mind if we just do a quick screenshot. So Dragon X is going to be 1-to-1. So for every 1 token of titanX, you're going to get Dragon X. Now, week 3, it's going to be 1-to-0.95. So there's a 5% reduction. Now, we're still going to have some sort of inflation coming down. We might see there could be a price appreciation. I'm not really sure how this is going to impact the Dragon X price. I'm not sure enough to make a decision. I still need to look at some more on-chain analytics. But overall, we're still going to see more Dragon X minted out into the future unless we start to see an increase in their buy and burn vault and their buy titanX vault. But the one thing I will say that is a guarantee is when we get to week 12, that is going to be the week where we're going to be one step away from basically Dragon X going to deflationary and that buy and burn kicking in and buying a lot of those tokens off the market. So I think the main point I'm trying to say is you're going to see some sort of inflation within, I would probably say, the first 4 to 8 weeks, because week 4 it's 1-to-0.9 and week 8 it's going to be 1-to-0.7. But that reduction in the ratio will have an impact on the amount of Dragon X tokens that hit the market out into the future. So it will reduce the inflation over time. As to how that's going to impact the price, I'm not really sure. So now let's see. Rod, I'm buying DX off the market. I refuse to pay taxes on DeFi. Yeah, I think DX. Are you saying Dragon X? Okay. Orion, what's your hyper strategy? Okay, so here's my hyper strategy, and here's what I'm doing. So, from my understanding right now, I know Jake switches up what he wants to do, but hyper is supposedly going to be for liquid titanX, and then I believe Shogun is going to be for stake titanX. Now, what I'm doing is I'm waiting to see how the market plays out, and then I'm going to keep a really big bag of ETH on the sidelines. And then once we start to get closer to the announcement of the hyper launch, I'm probably going to take some of that ETH and buy into titanX, and basically, actually, I'm going to take some of that ETH, buy into titanX. I'm going to test right how hyper will work, and I'm going to try to gauge and look at all the strategies, because there's going to be a white paper right before the announcement of the launch. And I'm going to try a couple different strategies with a little bit amount of ETH. And then once I figure out what's the best strategy to use in hyper, I'm going to convert a bunch of that ETH over into titanX. And then I'm just going to do my thing on the protocol. So to answer your question, Orion, I want to do a small test case and just see what happens. Just like I did with titanX when I did the staking, holding liquid titanX and doing the mining. And I was able to figure out that titanX mining was the most profitable before anyone else. There was other people that are saying that I'm holding liquid titanX or I'm continuing to stake, yada yada. I was saying once I figured that out, I said mine titanX. That is your best way to maintain its value. So overall, like I said, I'm gonna stay on the sideline, and then when Shogun hits, I'm probably gonna nuke all my stakes because most of them got diluted, and I'm just gonna take advantage of the Shogun and see what happens because honestly, I'm not really getting that much ETH yield payout now. So just being honest. My band, Tank Will Davis, thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. When you guys get a chance, please follow Tank on Twitter. He's a really great dude. I've done a lot of work with him when it came to Pulsechain research and any alpha or whatnot. He's an absolute legend, and thank you so much for the super chat, man. I really do appreciate. George Reed, Hyper is for both staked and liquid titanX. Well, it used to be, George. Now there's two protocols. So there's titanX and then, there's Hyper and then there's Shogun. And last time I checked, he separated the two. There might be a future where he has Hyper for both of them. But as of right now, that's what I saw. And I still need to jump into the titanX ecosystem. I've been doing a lot of research on Bitcoin Layer 2 scaling solutions. So I need to catch up. What's up, Crypto Holger? How you doing, my man? It's good to see you, dude. Cool. All right, so we're sitting at 625. Well, yeah, let's talk about some projects that we're looking at. Now, the homie, Mike Dean, did this beautiful project list. It's called titanX Hub. And actually, let me drop this into the chat just so you guys already have it. If you guys ever want to check it out, come over here, take a look at these projects, show some support. Now, here's the deal. A lot of these projects I'm actually going through, and I'm going to do a video on every single one of them. I'm not sure if every project has been audited. I don't know the situation with each dev, so I don't know what's going on. But there's a lot of really, really exciting projects that are popping up that I've been slowly taking a look at. Now, a cool one that I definitely want to do a video on is called Titan Legends. Now, if we come over here to the white paper for Titan Legends, it's a really cool NFT market. You basically take titanX, you burn for an NFT, and you get all these exclusive benefits behind the NFT. So essentially, it's basically a utility NFT. I think this is really cool because it creates this like exclusive titanX club where if you have the NFT, you can be part of the club, and there's really cool ultra written hair ones. And basically, the main reason why I like Titan Legends so much is it's because it's developing an NFT marketplace. If titanX does really, really well, there's a good chance that this could have some, maybe not the same level as Bored Yacht Ape, but it could appreciate very, very quickly because this is like one of the OG NFTs. So I'm considering jumping in and maybe just like minting one. I don't know if I'm too late. Let's see. I might be too late. Oh, okay. I guess I'm not too late. All right. Well, I'm gonna research that one, but I think that's a really cool project that I was taking a look at. Now the other one, Titan Blaze. This is a crazy project, and supposedly it's by 8 titanX OGs. I see them using the numerology behind it, and this video I'm gonna have to do like an exclusive video on this one because there's so much going on. But I can give you the very small gist of what's going on by this really cool diagram that I was looking at earlier to get you guys pretty excited. Now, from face value, there's probably like a lot going on here. Let's just zoom in right here. Actually, let me save this image on my desktop, and then I'm gonna pop it up real quick so it's easier to see. So basically what Titan Blaze is doing is they have this multi-token system. And if you guys know what DBZen is, essentially Titan Blaze is going to be the DBZen of titanX, and then TLS is going to be the liquid titanX staking. So if you want to like stake your titanX and still have the value to go and spend on other stuff, this TLS token is what's being created. So I think you guys heard of liquid staking. We saw Saucer Swap create on Hedera. We've seen it on a lot of like ETH protocols where you can have like liquid staked ETH. It's basically giving you the value of the passive income with your tokens being staked while also giving you the opportunity to go in and buy other projects within the ecosystem. So I honestly think liquid staking is the future for most tokens. Now, what I really like about these two ecosystems was they created a really great way to basically overlap each other and add so much value and utility behind titanX. And in my opinion, DBZen did really well on the Zen ecosystem. And how DBZen works is you take a certain amount of Zen tokens, you burn it for DBZen, and you receive DBZen. And if you stake your DBZen, you'll earn ETH payouts. So anytime you burn Zen for DBZen, all that ETH in the auction gets sent out to the DBZen stakers. And so what Titan Blaze is doing is they're basically implementing a very similar feature, but only for titanX. So it's really, really cool. I don't want to get too far into it because I'm going to say that for another live stream, but this is something you guys should be researching because they are planning on putting out their burn paper very, very soon. And that's when I want to get in and really dive into this project and really learn it and really jump into each of the aspects. But based off of this protocol and what we're seeing, we'll just take a look at TBZen. So if you come over here to mint Blaze, 50% titanX, 50% ETH. Minting of Blaze occurs at daily auctions, 888 available tokens. Daily supply is deflationary, so it goes down. Liquid Blaze can be sold into the titanX Blaze LP, or you can stake Blaze, receive staker payouts paid in ETH, and then it goes into this 92% of ETH pool that was deposited from the auctions for the Blaze auctions, and then on top of that, through that titanX Blaze pool, there's a Blaze burn function that's going to be sitting there burning the Blaze token off the market. So there's a lot of moving parts here, and I would have to really dive in and jump into this, but that would probably extend this live stream another couple of hours, and I don't want to do that to you guys. Now, the other thing I was also looking at, I'm a big fan of Helios. I think Helios is a really great project. It's basically titanX, but that investment ecosystem is what's going to really catch a lot of attention. But the other one that I was looking at that was pretty interesting, and I'm not sure how this is going to be implemented or what's the future of this, was titanX Stronghold. So from face value, this project looks really, really cool. It gives me like a League of Legends vibe or one of those phone games with like the castles and stuff. And so what seems like they're doing is they're basically building out a protocol that's going to be like a video game built on top of titanX. Now, keep in mind, I will wait for the white paper to come out. I would also wait for the audit and make sure that there's like some sort of KYC before ever jumping into this game. But if this thing comes to fruition, this would be really, really cool because titanX will have its own first video game. As to how that's implemented, that is my big question. How is this thing going to be implemented? But this is also another really cool thing I've been looking at. And please do your own research, keep an eye out, and, you know, put it on your radar. But don't marry your opinions because you never know what can happen in this space. So, cool. Well, overall, I think that's all I got. Let's see if we got any more questions or see if you guys want to talk about anything else. Cool. Orion, Blaze, titanX Marketing, King X, and Titans of Battle have me really excited, man. That's really cool. And Helios, yeah. Pulsar by another OG. Okay, yeah, I heard about Pulsar. I need to look in that. Raylux, I believe Pulsar is bridging to titanX to Pulsechain. Curious to know for what utility. I don't think, is there anything on Pulsar? They do have a Twitter here. Hold on, let me take a look. If they do they even have a website? Yeah, so it looks like Pulsar is building up a really great community right now, and I did see some stuff about how they're going to bridge over to Pulsechain. My guess is if they're going to bridge over to Pulsechain, they have some sort of special utility that's going to get a lot of people excited. So that's definitely a really cool project. So like I said, man, I'm going to do live streams and videos on all these projects and get you guys in the loop and all that good stuff. So cool. That could be exciting. All right, guys. Well, that's it for the live stream. Another awesome live stream today. I want to thank all you guys for viewing the Verse Crypto channel. And before I wrap this live stream up, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on bell notifications so I keep you guys updated with the latest, greatest news and information in the space. My name's Khaos Kris. I love every single one of you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, y'all.